Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to a slightly more informal year here on Bear in the Kitchen. It just seems to me that jacket, while it looks cool, feels great, and all that jazz, it's really not me, is it? The hat's not really me either, is it? Alright, now, let's get to cooking. Today, we are going to make some short-lived refrigerator jalapeno jelly. Really simple. Stick around. Make sure you've got some crackers. This doesn't take much. Let's get started. Alright, so for a change, I'm going to try actually following the directions, sort of, on the package. You learn things in the strangest places. Well, I do anyway. I was looking around for how to make ballistics jelly for something for the outdoor channel, and I learned about letting your gelatin bloom, which is something that I had never previously encountered. So I'm going to try that this time around. This is kind of an experiment. Thanks for coming along with me. And we're going to try letting this package of Knox gelatin bloom in a 1/4 cup of liquid like it says. Let's take a look at down here. I'll show you everything we're going to use for this. This is so simple. Alright, check it out. So as you can see, this is not going to take a whole lot of equipment, and the only thing, you know, anybody has to worry about is knife handling skills, but one hopes you have those because you're not going to get proper knife handling from me. I've got 2 measuring cups because this Knox apparently sets 2 cups of liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it bloom in a 1/4 cup of cool water, and then I'm going to measure out my jalapenos once I run them through the food processor to make sure that with this I've got no more than 2 cups of liquid, and then we're going to throw that into the trusty saucepan, let it heat up, get to a nice boil, and then into my 2-cup measuring storage container. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to mix this in, because apparently it's supposed to dissolve better in cold water anyway and prevent lumps. And like I said, it's supposed to do that blooming thing, which is kind of a preset of the jelly stage. I don't really know. I'm not a jelly food scientist. I'm a dude who makes food for the family. Let's just zoom in and see if we can catch anything interesting going on there. Well, it certainly does seem to be dissolving a little bit more quickly, and I don't see any lumps forming in there. So I'm going to set that off to the side to let it finish doing its thing while I prep those jalapenos. These jalapenos don't look so hot, but I got them at like 50% off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a quick rinse and spray them off with some vinegar we have in a jar. And then we'll get to cutting out these nasty bits. Alright, now that I've rinsed these off, given them a good vinegar spray, and then, you know, rinsed them off again, preparing them is pretty simple. Like I said, I'm just going to go through, and first thing I'm going to do is cut off any black spots. Put the rest of these pepper bits aside from my compost pile. I know everybody's got different rules about how they compost, but around here, if it started off as food, it ends up in the compost. Now I am being a little bit wasteful with these peppers and the way I'm cutting it, but I'd rather err on the side of safety when it comes to taking out bad bits of food, and that is my recommendation to anyone else as well. As one of my favorite teachers would say, when in doubt, throw it out. Alright, now that I've got that taken care of, I'm going to slice these up, put them into the food processor, and then basically liquefy them so we've got almost a puree, if you will, and we'll see how that takes to setting. It's a pretty straightforward process, so we'll just skip to when I get back with the pureed peppers. So here you can see the result of processing those peppers. Almost looks like a pickle relish, but I wouldn't be tempted. Well, I would be, but I'm crazy about the peppers. So, smells delightfully fresh and green. Time to keep moving with this, I think. So the gelatin I'm using claims that it will set either 2 cups of liquid or 1.5 cups of fruit. So my plan with this is I'm going to measure out my pulverized peppers into my large measuring cup, and we'll see how much I've got, and then I'll top it up. We'll dump in this bloomed jelly, and then we'll boil it up and take a look at that and see how it sets. So let's just see how much shredded jalapeno this turned out to be. Oh, a lot of seeds in there. Delicious, delicious. There's a good chance a spatula might have been a better idea. Alright, I'll just even that out and we'll see about what we're looking at. Alright, well, I'm not sure how well that's showing up in the camera, but it looks like we're at about 1 cup there. So, what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to take just some cold water from the tap and fill this until it says 1.5 cups. Which looks like about there. And then we're going to add in our preset jelly mix. I'm grabbing a spatula for that one. So let's just scoop this out as best we can. Still moving pretty freely, so that's a good sign, I think. And I'll just stir this in a bit, and we'll move over to the stovetop. Just going to pour this into my saucepan, and we're going to bring it up to a gentle rolling boil. And I'm going to keep kind of gently stirring this all the way along. As you can see here, I've got lovely steam pouring off of my nice rolling boil that, because I had to say that twice, doesn't look as rolling as it was, but I assure you this is ready. What we're going to do now is we're going to pour it into a pre-warmed glass container. Don't pour boiling anything into cold glass, anything ever. Someday I'll tell you about some nachos, but not today. We're going to use a canning funnel just because burning jelly on the skin sucks. Now I measured this out and that says it's a 2-cup container. But I don't know. That's pretty close. Okay, where's my spatula? Spatula City! Plunk that right in there. Look at that gooey green goodness. Isn't that delightful? Now this is going to need to set for quite a while, so I think we're going to head off on a coffee date and we'll come back and check on this in probably 1 or 2 hours, and I'll update you then. It's been about 2.5 hours, give or take, and this has definitely set into the bowl, so I'm going to try getting it out of here. We'll see what it looks like on the plate, and then got some multi-grain corn chips, because you gotta taste it. Alright, well let's give it a simple smack first, and then when that doesn't work, we'll get a little more drastic. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna work. That set really, really well. Okay, let's give this a try. Take a little knife around the edge, and hopefully the bottom doesn't look too nasty when it comes off of this. And one more try, just in case. We'll do it this way. And that still didn't do it. I'll get back to you with this on the plate. So what we did was we ended up soaking the bottom of this in a little bit of hot water. Shock's brilliant idea, and wouldn't you know, I still got a little bit stuck on the bottom of this, but maybe the lesson here is all those guys sprayed Pam in their container for the ballistics jelly. Maybe I should try that for my pepper jelly. Either way, this is what we've got on our plate. Very nice looking thing. Let's cut that and take a closer look. So we can see a definite layer on this where the gelatin is formed separate from the fruit mass. But I gotta say, that looks pretty appealing. Only one thing left to do now, isn't there? Well, we'll just take that little corner there. Maybe we'll just take a little bit more of that corner there. Plop that on there. How's that look? Very green. I love green. Are we ready? What do you think? Should I?
Do it.
Okay. All in all, that's kind of watery. There's a whole lot of jalapeno burn, but there's a definite watery that comes through with that. So I don't know if it's an adjustment to the amount of liquid that simply went into the jam, or what needs to be done there, but for a short term, you know, discount jalapeno peppers looking to put something on a cracker, this will really do quite well. It's a bit tasty. I've got a bit of a burn, but like I said, it's just that initial The first thing that hit me from this was kind of a watery, I want to say flavor, even though water shouldn't have a flavor, but because there's no sugar in this, it didn't get all of the sweetness permeating the jelly like you normally would with a lot of different things. Because these weren't liquefied like the grapes were, it's just not going to go all the way through. So I think a person could probably avoid that by maybe reducing the amount of water that goes in there by even a 1/4 cup. So maybe 1 3/4 cups of water instead of 2, and you probably wouldn't have this problem. Alright, well, I've got some cream cheese here. I've got a few more chips, and I've got Shocks on the camera that is dying to try this. So let's get a clip of that before we call this done.
Oh my, this is very jelly-y. My mouth is watering. I've been waiting forever.
2.5 hours is not forever. You see what I mean by that slightly watery but definitely jalapeno-y?
Oh, yeah, definitely got that burn in there.
Well, it's just jalapenos.
Yeah, it is missing a bit of the sugar and the vinegar, just to kind of give that enhancement to that additional flavor, to give it the depth. That's what it's missing, is the depth.
The sweet and the tang. But for a quick, easy, you know,
this is good.
Sugar-free solution, there it is.
Yeah.
Alright, so I really do have to wrap this up if I want any of that left for me. And, you know, we might put some aside for maybe some chicken that, you know, Shocks was starting to mention it'd be good on chicken before I rudely cut her off by stopping the camera. But, you know, that's how it goes. Sometimes the finger's in motion before you hear the words. Take that however you will, perverts. Alright. Alright, everybody, until next time, this is Bear in the Kitchen. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.